12:05 in the afternoon on this Wednesday here on 90.3 FM. It's Wednesday, meaning it's Helping Seniors of Brevard Day. And let's get the show underway right now as we introduce the Executive Director of Helping Seniors of Brevard and the host of the show. Here's Carrie Fink. Hi, Carrie.
Hey, John Harper, and thank you. And welcome, listener, to 90.3 FM WEJF. And for those of you listening online at WEJF.net, welcome to. This is the Helping Seniors. It's our Wednesday lunch hour gathering. We get together around the radio every Wednesday at lunchtime right here on 90.3 FM and want to welcome you into the program. We have so many good things to talk about. Also want to say hello to those who catch this as a podcast later, because we make these available on YouTube. We make these available on Facebook. We make these available on Spotify, iTunes, wherever you get your podcast, you'll find us there. iHeartRadio is another place, and some people go, "Hey Alexa, let me hear Helping Seniors Radio." So why not? So I have very good company in the studio with us today. In fact, we have three of our board members here. If Joe Steckler, our president and founder, were here, we could almost have a board meeting between John Harper, Jennifer Helin, who is also, in addition to being a longtime friend of the Helping Seniors organization, you've served on the board for really as long as I can remember, our volunteer board, right?
Yeah, I've been here quite a while.
Well, welcome back, and thanks for being here. And also Chris Morse, who is the head of the Helping Seniors Travel Club, which we're going to talk about a little bit today. He also serves on our board. Hey, Chris, how are you?
Good morning. Glad to be here.
Yeah, we have so many exciting things to talk about. You know, with the fact that people are free to travel and do things, we've got some exciting things to talk about. In fact, we called today's show Making Good Plans. And the other reason is because I want to introduce our other guest in the studio today, who's new to Helping Seniors family, but really very experienced and knowledgeable about what she does. Her name is Marisa Mitchell, and you are like an expert in all things Medicare because you have Marisa Mitchell Insurance, and your goal is to help people find the right pathway through all that stuff we get in our mailbox, right?
Absolutely, and I'd like to do that, especially here as a local resource. I grew up in Indian River County, but I moved here to Brevard, and I have just become so passionate because I meet so many people on a daily basis that are so confused about how to manage their care and how to select a doctor, and there's so much confusion with all of these 800 numbers that come around at open enrollment, and then they're gone at the end of the day once it's closed, and these people are kind of left alone sometimes trying to figure things out.
You know, we were talking about that before the show began because so often what happens is we get used to that time of the year when the mailbox just gets stuffed. Everybody's dropping you something and saying, hey, you need to sign up for this. And then if that's not bad enough, you see all these people that you recognize from TV, and they're out there saying, oh, you got to call and tell me your zip code because I have all kinds of special deals for you. And I don't know if they're good or bad. And that's the problem. You don't know what you got or what you saw, if that's helpful or not. And the problem is most of these places are not local, right? So you call an 800 number, you're talking to somebody out in, I don't know, let's just say Omaha.
Exactly.
And what do they know about Florida, right?
And especially they don't know about the specific environment here in Brevard. We have different options, and, depending on these plans that people are put on, they can be locked into, seeing doctors that maybe they're familiar with, or they might change a doctor just because they want to get a certain benefit, and then they no longer can have the reliable access that they need to the local doctors. And I love working with the local physicians and the local people around here, because I really do get the time to get to know them on a one-by-one basis. And then I get to come into their home, and I feel like I leave, after meeting one of my neighbors, and I get the opportunity to serve them. And then if they do have problems in the future, they can just, give me a call or text or email, and I can come back and help them again.
Both Nancy Deerdorf, who's our operations director, and myself, we were at a session yesterday afternoon where they were presenting the findings. What this was is a group that looks after nonprofits here in Florida, it's called the Nonprofit Alliance, and they were sharing results of a study about giving. And what they found out, particularly in the survey they had done of all of Florida, but in particular in Brevard, they found out people like to support local charities, which is a big plus for us if you think about it. Helping Seniors is the 501c3, which is a fancy name for nonprofit. Joe Steckler, who is the retired Navy captain who can't stay retired. First he built all the Joe's clubs with Brevard Alzheimer's Foundation, and then well, I guess it's 2011, so it's 11, 12 years ago, wherever we are in the cycle. I remember when I met him, he said, Kerry, people have more problems than just memory challenges. He said, it's very important, but we're trying to do stuff to make people aware of resources for that. But people have more trouble than that. So all those years ago, he established the county's senior information helpline, which is that free call. If you call, you'll get Nancy Deerdorf. She'll give you a call back. 33 years registered nurse experience. There couldn't be a better person to have on the other end of the phone when you have a crisis or you're trying to navigate through something. And so when we were there, though, we're talking about how people like to give to local charities. And we're going to give you a chance to give. Have no doubt about it. We're going to talk about ways you can get involved in helping seniors. But the point that, coming back to Marisa, the conversation that we're having, is that you really do need somebody local. Why do people like to give locally? Because they feel like they're helping their neighbor. And that's really what you're doing too. You're somebody can actually call.
Absolutely. And I'm one of your neighbors. I know a lot of the environment of the healthcare here. I used to be formerly a medical assistant, so I feel that knowledge also helps me to better understand the person's individual needs. So whether it's myself or other local insurance brokers, it's really important to be able to have somebody that's going to customize what you need, because your needs change, and sometimes they can change even throughout the middle of the year. And
Right.
then you don't know who to turn to. So I definitely love being able to be there for people to help them find a solution to whatever problems they're facing right now.
There's no question about it, because I was thinking too. I was asking you. I said, I know that we're getting ready for that big crush of mail that starts, I don't know, September, and everybody has to make a decision. And sometimes making no decision is in fact a decision, right? I'm going to stick with what I have, but that may not always be the best idea going into the new year. And what you were saying before we got on the air was really now is a good time. Because I was asking you, I said, I remember this with our mom. My mom was that she would get into the middle of the year, start hitting donut holes and things like that. And if you don't look at those aspects of your coverage, you can find yourself like with big bills real quick.
Oh, they can definitely add up. And so it's definitely, very beneficial to right now sit down and see what is working with with your healthcare, see what kind of issues you're facing. And then also, doctors can also, if you have certain coverages, can choose to just leave. And, if just because they're available today, they may leave at any time. Yeah. And then that can leave you scrambling, so that then who are you going to turn to when you feel that you're stuck between now and the end of the year to be able to finally make a change on your plan. But
yeah. And it really makes a difference when you have somebody that's knowledgeable. They're a good guide to you. And as an independent broker, right, you're not beholden to one specific company. So you can look at somebody's situation and look at everything that you have available to you and find that best match, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, that's part of the reason that I decided to become an independent broker, because I fell in love with this, doing it as an internal sales agent for just one company. And when I found out about the fact that I could become a broker and that I could be independent and I could be appointed with all the different companies and represent them, it just made so much sense to me, because everybody's needs are so unique. So, some people may be better with one type of plan. Other people may benefit from more freedom. And some people are just already very healthy, and they just, it's so individual to the person.
Well, that's one of the things we talk about. And I want to ask Jennifer Helin to jump into this conversation too, because as you know, from the beginning of the year, we have talked about this idea. Joe has called it an aging plan. Like, you have to develop your own aging plan. And what he means by that is you're creating a roadmap for things of where you want to go. and occasionally places you may not want to go, but you're forced to go. So this could happen legally, it could happen financially, it could happen medically. There's a lot of things that we hit along the way. We kind of euphemistically call it getting your ducks in a row, but basically, Jennifer, we're talking about trying to make good plans, right?
We hope so, yes.
And I was thinking, as we're hearing Marisa talk about how she helps people navigate through insurance questions, this is a lot what you do, because I've heard you and Joe talk over the years that with your company, which is called Seniors Helping Seniors of Brevard, you really are that entry level. You're like the first people coming into a senior's home and starting to help out. And then therefore, you're part of that whole planning process as they start to move forward on an aging plan to some degree anyway.
Right. We ask a lot of questions that even though we might not be doing anything with a power of attorney or a living will, we are asking a lot of questions because we want to make sure that people are thinking about these things and putting them into place now while they're healthy before they get to a point where they either can't make the decision for themselves or it's a very rash decision that may or may not be the best decision for them. So we really talk about where they are now, but also where they might be in 10 years and having that plan in place so that they're in control of their decision making.
You know, Joe always calls that, he has a term, he calls it elements of care, that you're trying to find the right element of care for the place that you are. And that may advance over time. You may need more help as you go down the road. And I've heard you, Jennifer, because you guys do, it's technically called companion homemaker. Help me get that right.
So all of us are governed by the Agency for Healthcare Administration, from Holmes Regional Medical Center all the way down to little us, at Seniors Helping Seniors. So we are a homemaker companion. That's our license through the state. And we are able to do a lot of things that you do in the house on a day-to-day basis: transportation, light housekeeping, meal preparation, lots of companionship. But we are not allowed to do the hands-on. So we don't do any medical, any showering, bathing, dressing, things of that nature. So when we're first into a home, we're making sure that this is our client. This is something that we can do and do a really good job with. And if they do need the hands-on care, then of course we refer them to a really good company that can do that for them.
Right, and I think that's Joe. Again, when I say Joe, I'm talking about Joe Steckler, our president and founder. That's really been his point, right? You want to apply the correct amount of help needed at the right time so that you're preserving your resources for some time down the road if you need more help, and also that you're not overbuying what you need for today, right?
Exactly, because homemaker companion services are less expensive than the hands-on care. So often seniors can just need a little bit of help, and they'll be very successful with our services for a number of years. That something happens and deterioration, something happens, and they do need the hands-on care, or maybe they need to move to an assisted living facility. But we've been very successful with clients completely through their aging journey. The whole time we were able to be in and be with them. So, it's individual needs, but you definitely, don't want to overbuy, like you said, if you can help it, because the prices have really gone up since COVID.
Yeah, I was going to say that's a challenge that we all are facing these days. But one of the things is you guys have been very effective also. I know you have a program, if I'm saying it right, called Electronic Caregiver. And that's another thing that you guys do?
Yes, it is. In fact, I had just texted the girls this morning because I wanted to double check myself. I wanted to see if it worked on a cruise. I'm looking at Chris Morse now.
Yeah, we're going to get there. Trust me.
So it is, I love Electronic Caregiver. It is a help I fallen on, I can't get up button. But it's a whole lot more than that. It's really a personal safety system. It's a way for families to get together on mom or dad's care. Communication device. It's a lot of technology wrapped up in a little watch that also has a GPS piece, so it can go anywhere with you. It can be at the home, but it could be when they take a walk in the morning, going to Walmart or Publix, if they wanted to go kayaking or hiking or wherever they wanted to go, this device goes with them. So wherever there's a cell service, they can get it. So they probably wouldn't need it while they're on the cruise ship themselves, but if they get off in the Bahamas and want to walk around, it could actually go there and work there with them.
Wow.
So it's fall detection. So we can call if there's an emergency, they can get a hold of somebody right away. But it also does medication reminders, activity reminders, like remind you to take your blood pressure in the morning. It does a GPS locator. So if somebody has early stages dementia and they're worried about someone wandering away, we can find them.
Wow.
The family can actually track them on the app.
Wow.
So we know, where that person is. There's a great caregiver app, the family app, that they can go back and forth with the family. The family can send reminders directly to the button. So it's a great use of technology to help keep our seniors safe and at home where they want to be, which is, always our goal is, most of us want to be at home for as long as possible. So this is a way to help people do that. We hope they never have to use it, but it's a nice little insurance policy that
Absolutely.
they have it if they need it.
Yeah, and I think the third thing I would be remiss if I didn't point out is you are a tremendous employer of seniors in our county too, right? Because the whole thing behind seniors helping seniors is you guys hire seniors to help other seniors.
Yes. In fact, I was just up in Merritt Island talking to one of the new doctors, a clinic that just opened up there, and he hadn't heard of us before, so he was really very effusive. It was great. He saw the wisdom
Right.
in having a senior coming in and helping a senior, and how we have widowers. They've cared for a loved one, they passed away, and now they're kind of floundering. They're
Yeah.
by themselves and they're not quite sure what to do. They make great employees because they've got all this incredible caregiving knowledge that they can share now with someone else. And they can go and do it 1 or 2 days a week and still be able to go home and kind of go home to their peace. But they can go out and feel like they're doing something really wonderful. And they really are. Just had a gentleman start with a gentleman here in Palm Bay. And the caregiver called me and said, "Oh my gosh, I had so much fun with him. This is great." It's really good for both sides.
And what I hear when I'm hearing Marisa Mitchell with your experience and what you do helping navigate people through all these questions that we have have you ever read one of these policies?
So Carrie, here's my theory with Medicare. I know enough to know that I do not know.
See,
and I send people to the expert.
That's the beginning of real wisdom right there, right?
And I do appreciate that because, I feel like all of the life experience that I've had, I had a, retail knowledge before. So, I know how to service people and take care of and really listen. And that's the key word, that you really have to listen to what that person is, having for their goals, for their health. Some people, just want to be guided. Some people want to do it on their own. And, whatever I hear from them, I really try to use that to say, well, based on the things that you're telling me, this is what I feel is going to help you.
Right.
And if it does, you can try it out. And if it doesn't work, we can always work together to get you to where you need to go.
See,
I see the wisdom. Yeah, and having that hometown hero
right.
coming in and helping walk people through it, because my mom and dad very luckily have an insurance policy through where my dad worked. He worked at New York State Electric and Gas for 30 years. So they still have that policy that extends into Medicare. So they can purchase their Medicare policy through that. But she's on an 800 number. There's no one local to do that. It's up in New York State. So she's always on the computer.
They don't know hospitals.
Exactly. So every year it's a frustrating experience, and I feel so bad for mom. And I walked with her a little bit through it this year, but I'll probably need to, get more and more involved as time goes on. But it is so confusing and so cumbersome. It's kind of a nightmare.
Yeah.
So
Well,
having
now-
someone
now
local
you know
to walk
Marisa.
with you, oh my goodness.
No, it's good. And that's the value of when you're trying to make good plans, of having good advice. And that's actually a reasonable segue to ask Chris Morse, because, we're talking about things that maybe are better if you don't do this on your own. I would say Medicare fits in there. I think getting good help at home. We've talked about, Jennifer, how important it is to not pull a name off of a bulletin board because you have no idea who you're calling. But I'm going to say the same thing about what Chris Morse does in the travel business. You know, we see all this stuff online. Oh, you can just go book your whatever online. And we think, well, that's going to save me money. And one of the things when I first met Chris, he said, Carrie, he said, the travel business really wants good travel agents because it makes their job easier, not just for the people who now have somebody that they can call and trust locally, but the cruise lines like to have a travel agent involved. Talk about that, Chris.
Well, it goes back to the history when the internet, when they first started, like Expedia and Travelocity, they used the cruise lines and the travel vendors used to give them special deals because they would be able to go online, book, and leave the cruise line out of it.
Right.
Trouble was, when the customer couldn't get answers to their questions or something happened, they called the cruise line, not Expedia or Travelocity, because there was nobody to call.
Right.
So in 2018, the cruise lines changed their mind, said to the travel agent, if you become our customer service person, we'll give you better deals than the internet.
Wow.
So all of a sudden, it all moved back to the travel agent.
Uh-huh.
So Helping Seniors of Brevard Travel Club can beat any internet rate. They can beat anything online. And we use vendors that come and support Helping Seniors of Brevard Foundation.
Yep.
So it's a really good deal. So the Helping Seniors of Brevard Travel Club can match or beat any rate out there, plus get a donation back to Helping Seniors of Brevard.
Yeah, we're going to really get into that in the second half of the show. Before we get there, I just want to make sure people, we do a thing called the Helping Seniors Directory. So we publish that every month inside of Senior Scene magazine. You can pick that up. 500 locations around the county. I think he prints 14,000 copies a month, something like that. And then they say, well, each copy goes to 2.2 people. And so those 2.2 people mean like it's 40,000 people who read it every month. But the point is, if you go in there and you look at the center section, we have what we call yellow pages. It has like the distinctive yellow border around it. And the last 3 pages of our newsletter, or technically 4 because we list our sponsors there, is a directory of good senior resources. But before we get to break, Marisa, if somebody says, I want to ask a question, I don't really understand, do I have an option? Do I have to wait until October? I guess they could reach you now. How would they, what's the phone number that they could reach you at?
So my telephone number is 321-361-1040. And I'm also, my email address is also Marisa, Marisa, Mitchell, Mitchell @gmail. But then I'm also available on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. So if you pretty much Google my name, Marisa Mitchell, you're going to be able to find me and locate me.
Yeah, and just put Marisa Mitchell in Brevard County, I guess, because that's the thing. It's local. Jennifer, how about for you and Seniors Helping Seniors?
So we can be reached at 321-722-2999 and of course online at seniorshelpingseniors.com/Brevard.
Brevard. And Chris Morse, we're gonna get deep into all this stuff on the second half of the show, but just for a preview, while people have pencils handy, the Helping Seniors Travel Club and Chris Morse.
That would be 818-430-1480, and you can reach us at thetravelcenterusa@gmail.com. And of course, we have a web presence on the Helping Seniors of Brevard website.
That's right. So much more as we talk about making good plans. Second half of the show coming up.
12:34 in the afternoon here on 90.3 FM. You're listening to Helping Seniors of Brevard, heard every Wednesday, 12 noon to 1 o'clock, with your host and the Executive Director of Helping Seniors of Brevard, Carrie Fink. And once again, here's Carrie.
Thank you, John Harper, and it's always good to be here on 90.3 FM, WEJF Radio. This is a great signal. It just goes up and down throughout all of Brevard County. In fact, it goes almost into Orlando and down south into Indian River. It's a great station that we're fortunate to be able to have a lunchtime gathering every Wednesday at 12 noon. And for those of you that were with us in the first part of the show, welcome back. And for those of you that may be just joining us, please make sure that you go back and you find this show online, because I think some of the information we talked about during the first half is going to be so helpful to you along the way, because our title for the show today is Making Good Plans. And so we've been talking with Marisa Mitchell, who is part of the Helping Seniors Network. She is a Medicare expert. We were just talking during the break, Marisa, that you get to spend your summer studying. Tell why.
Absolutely, because every year the Centers for Medicare requires me to do my certifications with them that cover everything from law and ethics to all of the changes that are going on every year for Medicare. Medicare is constantly changing. And then once I get that certification out of the way, I have to go through and recertify with each company and basically learn everything about the individual plans that each company offers. So I spend a lot of that time, really learning the ins and outs of each company and their plans and how to access services, because my job is not just helping people to enroll into a plan, it's also, providing continuous customer service on for the company, so that if they do have questions, if one of my clients has questions about it, they can call me and not necessarily have to get entangled into the 800 number for their individual company.
Yeah, we were talking about this during the first half of the show. They send you these documents, and they're always on this like real flimsy, thin paper because there's so many pages, and it has always all these subsections, and it references you back to another subsection, and you're trying to make heads or tails out of this. And it's like, I guess the only reason they send it to you is because they're required to you by law, because I would argue probably 90%, 98% of us probably can't make heads or tails. That's why we need help in making good plans. And so, Marisa Mitchell, that's exactly what you do. You help people navigate that on the Medicare side. And as we were talking about, too, it's not just during open enrollment. In fact, you can help people. Maybe they're turning 65. Maybe they've run into some really consequential situation, and there may be some options available to them.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, if they're unhappy with their current situation, there are plans that are 5 stars in the county that are an option that are available to them, and also people that have chronic health needs. There are special needs plans for people with certain conditions and things like that. So, it's my job to find out, to see if there is a possibility for me to help them change if they need it.
See, that's what I love, is that Helping Seniors has had a really a good ability, and I think this goes back to kind of the tone and tenor that Joe Steckler, our president and founder, has set from day one. He's always foreseen the need for a network of people who, number one, we all understand it's a business and we have to survive the business world. But he's always been of the mindset that we can get people who really care about seniors, who know how to do this the right way. So another person like Marisa Mitchell is Jennifer Helin. And I would say, Jennifer Helin, let me count the ways that you guys help seniors in Brevard, because number one, you're able to go into people's homes and provide that companion home care. You also have the electronic caregiver, and then you're also a great employer for seniors here in Brevard County.
Absolutely. And we really do try to help. Marisa and I were talking when we first got here. I was talking to actually a doctor's office about what we do and how we do it, because they had a client that they were really concerned about. And so we talked through the options. And now this may never become a client for me, but I was so impressed with the doctor's office that they would reach out to us to say, all right, we read online about what you do. I think this couple could really utilize your services. Tell us a little bit more about it. And please reach out and see if you can help.
Wow.
And they're unfortunately really great example of why we should have a plan in place. We have so many seniors that are very strongly independent.
Absolutely.
So much so maybe to their detriment.
Right.
And we can see it. And it's hard when you're the one in that position. It's hard to see outside of that. But, when you're an outsider looking in, we've worked with several people that have just absolutely refused care to the point where they've gone from living an independent life at home straight into a nursing home.
Yeah.
And you hate to see that, because if they had a little bit of help, that probably could have been prevented.
Well, that's the whole point behind getting your ducks in a row, which is what we call what Joe has always talked about, getting an aging plan. But the main point for today is talking about, let's make good plans. Let's get the right help, and the right decisions come from getting good advice and good recommendations from people who really know, like you guys, understand what you guys do. And I'm going to shift gears a little bit because I want to talk about helping seniors as a nonprofit. Okay, so we said this at the top of the show. As a nonprofit, we need your help. It's the only way we can stay around and do what we do. And so we're always looking for creative and fun ways to do things that will help keep our Senior Information Helpline operational, because we've been doing that continuously now since Joe began the organization in 2011. Nancy Deerdorf, who has 33 years worth of registered nurse experience, and also for quite a long period ran one of the largest home health agencies here in Brevard County, certainly one of the most well-respected home health agencies. And she brings that experience. She'd been a board member since the day Joe started that and actually helped Joe back in Alzheimer's days. But she was kind enough to say, okay, I'll put down my board duties and actually come on staff and help you guys so that we can really get good help. How do we do this? We do a couple of fundraisers. We do the Helping Seniors Car Raffle. We'll talk about that before the show ends, but really want to get into something as fun because this bridges these two things we've been talking about. We need a fundraiser that helps helping seniors, but we also are committed to making sure that you get expert help. And one of the areas that most of the time you feel like left alone. I got to book a travel on my own. I don't know. And one of the things I love about our guest, Chris Morse, who is the head of the Helping Seniors Travel Club, but he and Betty, they actually have their own travel company. And as Chris, you yourself have said, you've been doing this since dinosaurs roamed the earth. And so you have seen the travel industry go to the internet and then come back from the internet because when people have travel problems, they got to call somebody. And even when they're planning, they need to know where to go. We were talking about during the break, you were talking about, if a cruise ship has a certain theme night and you just booked on the internet, you don't know what's going on. And then you show up completely unprepared for that, right?
That's correct. And most of the online booking engines do not tell you that you need a visa or a passport.
Wow.
They do not tell you about the COVID-19 restrictions.
Wow.
So they'll book it for you, but then you're on your own. So that's why you want to go through a certified travel agent like we are at the Helping Seniors of Brevard Travel Club. And if you remember the history, when you and I and Joe sat in the office back in 2019, we were going to start the travel club.
And then we had COVID instead.
And we booked some great cruises, and we had to cancel that cruise, 3 times, I think, Carrie?
Yes.
And finally, in September of 2021, we had the greatest
it was great.
trip on MSC Cruises, on the MSC Divina. We had 55 people, 28 cabins, and we loved it. So we're going to do that again, Carrie.
I am so excited. I really want to talk about this because the idea was, and there's a serious part to this, so think about this for a minute. When we did a survey, because we do a survey, it's online, you can go take it right now at the helpingseniorsofbrevard.org website, but we want to ask seniors who live in Brevard County, what are the biggest needs that you have? So obviously things like medical, legal, transportation, housing, you just ask Nancy, she'll tell you that's the number one call is going out of control about housing, affordable housing in Brevard County. But we get all these calls, but the one that came up on the list that surprised me was people were talking about, I need more socialization. And Chris, you and I, when you walked in the door and said, I have an idea, because I've done travel, in fact, you're special needs certified. So you're used to helping people that don't even think they can travel safely. You are able to find the right way to get them safely on board and enjoy something that maybe they thought their traveling days were over. But my point coming back to this was when you said this, we get on cruise ships. All of us, we were talking about this during the break, we've all cruised. So you meet these great friends. Oh, I live in Oregon. So great. We'll become Facebook friends and we'll shoot, here's a picture of my family. Here's a picture of your family. We'll do all that kind of stuff. And that's fun. But what's really cool about the idea that you had, Chris, about bringing everybody together from Brevard County, now you're traveling with people who are local. So when you have a great time in the cruise ship, say, let's get together Wednesday for lunch when we get back. And it actually does tackle that thing of socialization.
It's funny when I'm calling the people regarding our cruise in last September, and I say, we're going to be doing another cruise. They say, well, did you call so-and-so? They were on our cruise with us.
Right.
They're staying friends.
Right.
Because they're local here in Brevard County, which is really nice to do. And thank you for bringing that up about special needs. I think 3 of our passengers on the September cruise were passengers who thought they could really never cruise again.
Wow.
And we were able to put them on the cruise ship, get them, we had the wheelchairs, we had the
Right.
breathing machines for them. And it just was so nice to see those people be able to get on a cruise ship and relax and just enjoy it instead of staying at home.
One of the things that was so fun about that, so number one, the way you set it up, it was 100% local. So all you had to do was basically get a ride to the pier in Port Canaveral. You didn't have to get on a bus, go down to Miami or Fort Lauderdale, or you didn't have to get on an airplane, fly halfway across the country. You could just roll out of your car and be on the ship right there in Port Canaveral. The way you set it up was you had everything arranged ahead of time. You'd figured out how to help us all get our COVID tests, everything that was required to get on board. You guys took all those headaches, and so as guests, we didn't have to worry about that. We just got to get on the ship and have a great time. I know it was a lot of work for you guys.
Well, again, also remember we had the dinners together.
Yes.
Where we shared dinners, and we also had 2 or 3 meetings on board the ship.
Yes.
And we had a couple of Helping Seniors of Brevard Foundation businesses come on board.
We
and
did
share.
radio. We
Yes.
got all the people on board the ship to be part of the radio too. That was fun.
And the other thing was MSC was kind enough to donate back to the Helping Seniors of Brevard Foundation some money
Yes.
to say thank you for bringing your folks aboard the cruise ship. So on our new cruise, should I mention our?
Absolutely, you should.
Carrie brought this up. She said, why don't we do a 3, 7, and a 10-day cruise all together? So
Right.
we put together on September 15th a 3-day cruise on MSC Divina out of Port Canaveral from the 15th to the 18th. And if you want to stay aboard, we're going to do a 7-day cruise from the 18th to the 25th on the Divina. You don't have to change cabins. All you have to do is relax with us. And those days that we see the ports that we've already seen, we're going to have some really nice presentation from some of our vendors. And the cruise ship said they'll do some extra special stuff for us. So September 15th, 3-day cruise to the 18th, and then the 18th to the 25th, a 7-day cruise. And MSC says they will donate back to the Helping Seniors of Brevard Foundation some of the money that we can use to help those seniors in our area.
Yeah, what made that so fun is the fact that, first of all, it was all local people. I'm trying to remember, the oldest lady that traveled with us was like 92 or something?
92 years
And traveled
old.
by herself. But she felt safe to do that because she was with a group of friends from Brevard.
That was just something that I wanted to comment on because you guys were telling that story. I've had several widowers say that they would really like to join because they're going as a group. They know there's a group of seniors that would be going. They know that they were having dinners, so they're not going to sit by themselves at
Right.
dinner. And that they would possibly make friends that they could have here when they got off the ship. So I've had a number of widowers say, I want to do that this time.
Yeah, and that's really what makes it so special, Chris, right? Is because you're having that camaraderie with people that you're gonna go home with. I mean, so we all live in the same area. The funniest story that I recall from it was I'm on the cruise ship, and we're having this great dinner companions. And a few weeks after I get off the cruise ship, I remember going to the BOZ, which is, I can't remember the acronym, but it's one of the organizations that's very good about just helping people in Brevard County. So we're at a bowling alley, and I hear, hey, Carrie, and it's the people from the cruise. And that's how this whole thing rolls, is you get to, not only do you get a great, the cruise line is basically, I always go, you're like in a 5-star hotel, and your hotel wakes up in a different city every day. I mean, how good is that? It's very cost effective because you were able to negotiate such great prices because of your experience. You get like really excellent pricing, and not only just the pricing, you might find a similar price on the internet, but what you were able to do is get the ship to throw in a bunch of amenities. Like I know the last time we cruised, you were able to get us free Wi-Fi, which normally is like $10, $15 a day on a cruise ship. So you could, text back your pictures from the cruise and all this kind of stuff, and it was so much fun. But then not only that, the nice thing was I saw how hard you and Betty worked to make sure if somebody had a challenge like, hey, this is on my, I don't understand this on my statement, you're not standing in the line, with 28 people down at guest relations. You just say, hey, Chris, can you help me with this? And Chris, because of who he is, he's got like the right go-to person on the ship. So he cut through all the red tape. So again, we're back to the value of having people who know how to negotiate a particular situation. Chris, if somebody wants to start, saying, give me more information about this, how do they reach you?
They can call me at 818-430-1480. And just a last word, what you're talking about, how seniors want to travel.
Yes.
We put together a Christmas present.
Yes, talk
travel
about
program.
that too. This is so much fun.
Instead of spending money on a toaster or whatever for people that already have toasters and microwave ovens and jewelry, on December 4th through the 12th of this year, we're going to go from Memphis down to New Orleans on the Mississippi American Queen steamboat.
Yes, that's a lovely ship.
Oh, it's a great ship. And all the seniors want to do a riverboat cruise,
Yes.
so we're going to be doing that. And American Queen is going to donate back to the Helping Seniors Brevard Foundation. And then, because it's very popular, we're doing a doo-wop cruise, 50s and 60s music.
Wow.
And that's on March 18th through the 25th. But that is in Los Angeles, because that's where all the stars are. And we're going to have special airfare to go there. But all the seniors that I've talked to say if they want to travel, they want to go to a doo-wop cruise. So we have
That's great.
We have the September cruise, the December cruise, and the March cruise, all for Helping Seniors Brevard Travel Club and to support the foundation.
Yeah, it's so exciting because you have an option for a local cruise, you have an option for a riverboat cruise, you have an option for a West Coast cruise, which is absolutely fantastic and different scenically, but with tremendous entertainment on board. But also, Chris, I don't want to leave this topic without reminding folks that the arrangement that you guys have done with Helping Seniors, if somebody they say, hey, listen, we want to go on a riverboat cruise in Europe, they still should call you for two reasons. You have the expertise in it. You can find the best deals that are out there. You're able to match whatever somebody would find on the internet. But also, when they book through you, then part of what comes back to your travel agency, you donate back to Helping Seniors as well.
That's correct. Either I work a deal with the cruise line or the riverboat cruise line or the travel vendor like Trafalgar or one of the land operators, and they will donate back, as well as Senior Travel or the Helping Seniors Brevard Travel Club will donate back part of our profits back to Helping Seniors also to help support the foundation. Absolutely.
So you have to, that's really the reason we're talking about the value of having experts kind of in your, we used to call it a Rolodex. I have no idea what we call it today, but it's like I know who to call for this thing. I know to call Marisa because I've got a question about my Medicare coverage or what might be the best for me. I know to call Jennifer because, well, like I said, one of the three things. Maybe I need help at home. Maybe I want to find out more about electronic caregiver. Or maybe I have some time and would like a fulfilling job and want to see what I might be able to do with them. And then when you're traveling, it's like, it's probably going to be our theme for next year. Don't try this on your own. Because if you've ever been around any of the conversations we've had, especially with our elder law attorneys that are part of the Helping Seniors Network, they always shake their heads as soon as I mention people coming in with these forms that they've done. They printed them offline and they walk in and say, here, this is what I have. And the dangerous part is, like with most of this stuff, they don't know they're in trouble until they're already in trouble, and now there's no way out. They did this form. Now there's a situation. Somebody can't respond. It's too late to change the form. That's why you've got to get this help now, and that's why we're so always busy talking about getting your ducks in a row. So, Marisa, if somebody wants to call you and say, hey, listen, I've got questions. I'm looking through all this stuff they send me in the mail. I don't know, or my situation has changed. Can you help me? How do they reach you?
You can call me anytime at 321-361-1040. And also, you can find me online, but that's always my phone number. You can always call or text me.
Okay. And Jennifer, Seniors Helping Seniors, best way.
So reach us at 321-722-2999 or online at seniorshelpingseniors.com/Brevard.
Yeah. And so Chris Morse, they're going to call and they're going to book. They're either going to come with us for the weekend because I think it's a Thursday. It's September 15th. It's a Thursday through a Monday or something like that. So it's a lovely 3-night cruise, and a lot of people are going to stay on board and just go the full 10 days. But you could also join the ship and just have a nice 7-day cruise starting on the 18th. So how do they get in touch with you and get all the details and information?
That would be at 818-430-1480, or email me at thetravelcenterusa@gmail.com. And one more statement, when you get on board the cruise ship, you see all those people standing in line when you enter the ship. You'll never have to do that with when you book with Helping Seniors of Brevard Travel Club.
Yeah, you guys did such a see. That's the thing. The first time it was a new thing for everybody, and nobody knew exactly how it was going to go. This time, especially among the people, those of us that were there, we know what a great experience it was. And I am so excited to say, by the way, you take either one of those cruises, you're going to stop at what they call Ocean Cay Marine Preserve. That is a fantastic experience by itself. It's their private island. They're doing everything like ecologically green, and it's just beautiful, and it's such a nice day that you're going to have at Ocean Cay. So you got to find about this. We're going to be back on the lovely MSC Divina. It's a big enough cruise ship that it's very stable in the water, great ride, and lots of amenities on board, but also small enough that you don't feel like you're in the middle of a thundering crowd. So it's just a perfect size thing. So that's going to be fun. One more thing that we got to talk about before we get to the end of the show, it's our other big Helping Seniors fundraiser, and that is the Helping Seniors car raffle. Jennifer, take it from there.
So you could win a Dodge.
Are there any other cars?
No, they're absolutely
Team
not.
Dodge?
That is it. So I always have to tease because I am Team Dodge. But you could win one of 4 brand new cars: the Dodge, the Chevy Camaro, the
I
Kia
heard that
Sportage.
stick in your throat.
That did. Although that's who won the last time, or the Mazda Miata.
Yeah.
So the raffle is amazing because not only can you win a brand new car, but you get to go to the American Muscle Car Museum
Yes.
the night of the grand drawing, walk around, see all of the amazing cars. And we've been there a number of years in a row
Yeah.
now. And we've had the opportunity to even go in between to do a little bit of filming. The cars are always different. It's amazing how many different cars he has. The new cars, they'll rearrange. The history behind the cars is fascinating. So you get to go out that night. We always have adult beverages, food, soda, water. So it's a great date night. And you're helping seniors of Brevard County. So it's a trifecta. You cannot lose by going and purchasing a raffle ticket.
You said it so well, Jennifer. And if you haven't been to the American Muscle Car, or even if you have, you don't even have to be a car nut. You're just gonna have fun in there because it's like 2 aircraft hangars full of cars. And tickets are 1 ticket for $25, 5 for $100. You do not have to be present to win. So if you say, "Oh, I can't make it. It's October 29th. We're going to be in such and such a place." It's okay. You're still in the drawing if you bought your ticket. But if you're in town, you do not want to miss this night. Mark Springs for all the food. He kind enough to donate the beverages and everything. And what a blessing he has been to us. You got to get your ticket, though. How do you do that? You can call Nancy at 321-473-7770, 321-473-7770, or you can go to helpingseniors.carraffle.com. And what a great resource that is, because you really help us keep doing what we're doing. I hope you'll take a look at the Helping Seniors Travel Club. We're going to get all this information. This is breaking news. We're going to get it out there about the cruise September 15th and 18th on the MSC Divina, and we will see you next week for Helping Seniors Radio.